Hey, I think I am live. Good morning. Oh, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, millionaires. Good evening, millionaires. Welcome to yet another edition of Good Evening Millionaire. My name is Amma Nancy. I go by Amma the CPA. So I'm super excited to be here with you guys this evening. Tonight we're going over how to stop living from paycheck to paycheck. But before we get into the information, do me a favor, put in the comments, go ahead, greet your fellow millionaires. So put in the comments, good evening, millionaires. Let us know where you're calling in from, and all that good stuff, right? So say like, good evening, millionaire Chicago, good evening, millionaire Atlanta, or whatever it is that you are calling in from. So good evening, millionaires. So go ahead, put that in the comments. That would be awesome. Again, before we get started in this information, just to let you guys know, so my name is Amma Nancy, right? I go by Amma the CPA. CPA stands for Certified Public Accountant. So whatever it is that you need when it's related to your finances, I'm somewhat of a personal financial success coach. Okay, so if it's like credit, living from paycheck to paycheck, getting out of debt, whatever it is, I'm sure that I can help you. I won't even tell you how many grueling hours of education I went through to get to this point, but nonetheless, I'm here and I'm always here to help. It's not important to me like what type of business that you are in. How you make your money is just important to me, what you do with it, and that's your life, millionaires. So, good evening, millionaires. If this is your first time joining us and you're like, who is she talking to? Who's a millionaire? I'm living paycheck to paycheck. You're a millionaire. Let me tell you why. Okay, everything has to happen 3 times. We only work as hard as we believe, okay? So everything happens 3 times. The first time is in your mind. That's why we say millionaire minded. The second time is on paper, right? We write it down and we make it plain. And the third time is in execution. So everything happens 3 times. So that's why we always say millionaire minded. And that's why I greet everybody by millionaire. Okay, every single person by millionaire. So welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Do me a favor. Go ahead and give us some shares. After you put in the comments, good evening, millionaire, and all that good stuff, then let us know where you're calling in from. And then you want to share the broadcast. Now, you want to share it on your personal page. You also want to share it on any groups that you're in. And then on top of that, anybody specifically that maybe maybe it's a friend or something like that you kind of been talking to and you know that they're in this situation, then you want to share it with them, or you think that it can help them specifically, then you can just send it directly to their inbox. Okay, millionaires? So good evening, millionaires. We're going to go ahead and get started. So the reason for this broadcast specifically is like, America is filled of high-paid poor people, right? So what does that mean? That means that the middle class has been working consistently, okay, forever, consistently. And however, the wages have not been able to keep up with inflation. And so that's why it seems like no matter how hard you work, no matter how many raises you get, no matter how many times you update your resume, you switch your job, you start doing this, you work overtime, you still find difficulty making ends meet. Okay, you still maybe find like you have more month than money at the end of the year. And it's a whole bunch of different reasons that it can come, that can be the root cause of it. But the main thing is that, we're just a society of high paid poor people. We were never taught this financial when we were in school. We were never taught how to even balance a checkbook, let alone budgeting and finance and personal finance and stuff like that. I have a good friend and a business partner, and he's actually retired. He's a retired economics teacher, and he quit. And so it's not like he's retired because he's like old. He actually quit and just started, and became an entrepreneur because he was just sick and tired of the way they were teaching the kids. In a nutshell, they didn't even require personal finance to be on the test. personal finance was worth like, you know, I don't even know, whatever. It was not even, they would say, if you didn't get to it, don't even worry about it because it's not going to be on the test. But he had to do, you know, the gross domestic and, you know, supply and demand and all that stuff that nobody remembers. Right? But then the stuff that you actually remember, it wasn't even required. And I'm sure that that's the case with a lot of economics teachers. So, you know, that's one of the things that I truly believe is like once you get to a certain point, a certain age in your life, you don't even want to ask these questions because you feel like you should already know these answers. So then you feel stupid. So nobody's there to teach you. And so you just kind of bumble along and you're like, fingers crossed. So that's the point of this whole video series, right? Good evening, millionaire. Make sure you tell your friends and family. So we're going to go ahead and get started. One more statistic I want to throw out is that more than 25 million Americans in the middle class are living from paycheck to paycheck. And this is exactly why. Because of, you know, everything that I just said. Okay, 66% of American households are having a hard time making ends meet and, you know, living like hand to mouth, so to speak. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys four. Okay, I'm going to give you guys four, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to give you guys 4 ways on how to stop living paycheck to paycheck. So make sure that you guys give me some shares. Now, I see a few shares on here, but not that many. Okay, so go ahead and make sure that you guys share the broadcast, like I said, on your personal page and groups that you're in, as well as with individuals that you know, can use this information. So number 1, the first thing you want to do when it comes to stop living from paycheck to paycheck is you want to identify and cut the waste from your budget. Okay, so put that in the comments for me, please, millionaires. Give me a number 1 and a share. Give me a number 1 and a share. My sister-in-law brought me this mug. It's one of my favorite mugs. If you guys can't see it, it says hashtag I woke up like this. Thank you, Tina. Love you. Okay. Hashtag. Oh, no. Hashtag. Give me a number 1 and a share. Give me a number 1 and a share. If you know me, everybody knows I love coffee, right? I drink it like all the time. So I was feeling a little bit tired. So I was like, I can't go to sleep. I got a lot of stuff to do. So I'm drinking a cup of coffee. Number 1 in a share, you want to identify and cut out the waste from your budget. Now, most Americans, okay, let me hurry up. Most Americans waste anywhere from 10 to 15% of their monthly income. That comes out to be about $340 every single month, at least $342 actually. $342 every single month that comes out to be. So what you want to do is you have to identify and cut the waste from your budget, wherever you're wasting your money at, and we all have our places. Okay, so think about it and really go through your budget and see where you are wasting money. And I have a whole video kind of going through how you can do that. But in a nutshell, just go through your bank statements, you know, maybe do like 2 to 3 months, and you can kind of see what's necessary and what is wasteful, okay? You want to find that extra $340, okay, millionaires? So number 2, give us a number 2 in a share. Good evening, millionaires. Put a number 2 in the comments and share the broadcast. Now, after you have identified the money that you have wasted, that $342, right? Now that you have identified that, now you want to put that money to work. This is how you're going to stop living from paycheck to paycheck. This is how you're going to get ahead. Basically, you have to get one. You want to start out with trying to get at least one paycheck ahead of your bills, okay? So, just a sidebar. We really should not be paying this month's bills with this month's money. Now, I know nobody ever taught us this, and we just feel like, you know, oh, I get paid on Friday, I can pay it then. And you're kind of trained to think that way. You know, everybody says stuff like that, like, oh, okay, I'm going to do it as soon as I get paid. But the reality is, you want to be ahead of your bills. So you don't want to be paying, this is May. So for May's bills, you want to be spending the money that you made in April or previously. Okay, so you don't want to be spending this month's money on this month's bills. So in order for you to do that, we have to get ahead at least one paycheck, right? And then we can take it from there. So in order for you to get ahead at least a paycheck, after you identified that money that you were wasting, now you want to put that money to use. So when I say put that money to use, that means you want to establish your emergency fund. At least start your mini emergency, establish your mini emergency fund. At least start your long-term emergency fund. Your mini emergency fund should be like $2,500 to $3,000. Your big emergency fund should be like 6 months, really, to like a year. Or you can say 6 to 9 months, but you just at least 6 months, okay? At least 6 months of your bills accumulated, right? And then you want to use that money to be paying off debt. So that's how you want to start off with number 2. Okay, number 3. Give me a number 3 and a share. Put a number 3 in the comments and please share the broadcast. Sorry, millionaire. So, a share. Oh, diversify your income. So number 3 is basically like you don't want to be relying on only one source of income. Now, even if your second and third source of income is not as substantial as your first, okay, maybe your first is like your job, and then you're starting out on your entrepreneurial journey and stuff like that. So that's like your second source, or maybe your second source is, whatever. But the whole thing is that you want to not rely on one single type of source. Now, when I say you don't want to rely on one single type of source of income, you don't want to rely on, if let's say you have 2 jobs, right? It's still 2 jobs. It's still, working labor kind of thing. So what will happen is, let's say, God forbid, something happens to your health or something happens to a family member's health and you can't go to work, right? You don't necessarily want to have like multiple sources of income that rely on you to get up and go to work. Okay, so when I say diversify your income, you want to have some source of like investment income or residual income and stuff like that, some type of leveraged income, so it's not dependent on you getting up every morning and going to work, okay? That you're relying on that source of income, because that's still kind of like one source of income. Okay, millionaires. So we're almost out of here. Give me a number 4 and a share. So put a number 4 in the comments and give us a share. Good evening, millionaires. Number 4 in the share. Number 4, you want to consider your cash flow. Now this one, you guys want to like put a star next to this one and underline it and circle it too. Okay? Put a star beside it, circle it, and underline it. You want to consider your cash flow. The reason that I say that one is so important and you put the star and all that stuff by it is because a lot of times we feel like we don't have enough money, we're barely making ends meet, etc., etc. So then we end up getting another job, and then but the reality is that we really make enough money. We really make enough money. The key to this whole thing is really number 4 and number 1, and that's considering your cash flow is number 4, and then the first one is identifying and cutting out that waste. And I'm not saying that everything is wasteful and you don't want to have any fun and stuff like that. But at the same time, millionaires, you want to go through your expenses. You want to see where you are spending way too much money. I've done this several times, right? So I'm totally speaking from experience. I don't know if I remember when I first graduated from college, and I was having a ball working downtown. Like I mean, it was like so much fun to me. I always wanted to do it. I always wanted to, you know, put on suits and take the commuter train and all that stuff. And so when I was downtown, I mean, listen, I was like Starbucks, Arbonne Payne, Bennigan's, Caribou Coffee, like every single day. Every single day. I can't, you know, some of the restaurants, those are like the popular ones. Some of them you guys won't even recognize. I remember it was this one place we used to go all the time, and it was like a where you can kind of a food court, but they would cook everything fresh. You know, everything was like made to order. And I used to go there all the time. So needless to say, I spent a lot of money on food on a daily basis, right? And so because it was Monday through Friday, and then the weekend is the weekend. So, of course, I'm going out on the weekend. So, I mean, I spent a lot of money on food. So you want to identify what it is for you. And then after that, I started spending a lot of money on coffee. You know, I would have coffee in the morning, coffee in the middle of the day, coffee when on my way home from work, and all of this stuff. And so you want to identify what your latte factor is, whether it's a latte or not. Where are you spending the bulk of your money, and what if you need to spend it. Now, sometimes maybe you can, maybe you don't have to do it 5 days a week. Maybe you can do it 2 days a week. Maybe you can do it 3 days a week. Even if you cut it down to 4, but whatever. You want to really identify your the wasteful spending in your budget, and then consider your cash flow. So I have a very, very cool video series at AmmaTheCPA.com, considering your cash flow. It's all about cash flow. It's a 3-part video series that is completely free. The videos are already recorded. Actually, sometime last year I recorded them, so they're kind of old. But definitely the information still applies, and that's the point. So go ahead to AmmaTheCPA.com. If somebody could put that in the comments for me, that would be awesome. Go to AmmaTheCPA.com and go to the video series that you can, it says increase your cash flow, or free cash flow tips. That's what it is, free cash flow tips. So make sure that you guys go check that out. And I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Tomorrow is Friday, and I'm actually going over a worksheet. You can find the worksheet. It's going to be the 369 financial transformation, right? So that's going to be fun, how you can transform your finances in these few little steps that we call the 369, right? It's actually 3 months, 6 months, or 3 weeks, 6 months, 9 months, something like that. But so 369. So check us out. Go to wearemillionaireminded.com. Go to the freebie section, and you can see the worksheet right there. You can download it and fill it in, print it out. It's a fillable form. You can fill it out online and save it and all that good stuff. So that's going to be tomorrow. And I will see you beautiful millionaires later. Good evening, millionaires. Have an amazing evening. Talk to you soon.